Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 2018 French-Canadian comedy drama Slut in a Good Way, or Charlotte Has Fun. Hey, well, that might be true. I am kind of a try-hard when it comes to these reviews, but I don't think that is a bad thing. I do the best I can with what I have here. Now, I thought Slut in a Good Way was an extremely fantastic movie, and I was a bit surprised when I read the title. I thought, oh boy, like, what am I getting myself into here? But this is a movie that does a great job at discussing the double standards of relationships in the workplace, the double standards of relationships in a friends group, how to treat people and how to not treat people, how someone can really have an emotional and mental issues when you treat them poorly and when you accuse them of things that they haven't done. And I thought that this movie did all that fantastically, and I really enjoyed it. Now, this movie has a 100% fresh rating from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and an 87% fresh rating from the audience. I'm currently reviewing every movie that has a 100% fresh rating from the critics in chronological order, and I will rank them once I am done reviewing all of them. So this movie stars Marguerite Bouchard as Charlotte, who is a 17-year-old girl. Now, she has recently broken up with her boyfriend because he has broken up with her because he has announced that he is gay. Now, she takes this really hard. She is beside herself. She can't understand why her ex-boyfriend was gay. Her two friends give her a lot of crap about this. They kind of make fun of her a lot, and they don't make it really easy for her to kind of figure this part of her life out and for her to really dig herself out of the situation. Now, one day, the three of these girls are at a toy store, and they see these really attractive men working at the toy store. So they decide that they're going to put their applications in and try to get a part-time job so that they can work around these attractive men. Now, they all get hired, and right away, Charlotte starts striking up relationships with a bunch of her coworkers, and she ends up sleeping with all of them except for one of them, who I think is named Galame. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but she ends up not sleeping with him. She more or less becomes like friendly with him, but she kind of sleeps around with everyone else. Now, the guys end up talking to each other, and word gets around that she's basically slept with all these people. And then one day, one of the guys she sleeps with sees her talking to Gulame, and he says, oh, what, are you going for a perfect score? Which means, like, are you trying to sleep with everyone? Now, once word gets out that she's kind of slept with everyone, she kind of gets this stigmatism, or she kind of gets this title put onto her as like the slut of the office. Now, this, of course, really destroys her a lot because she's just out trying to have fun. She just broke up with this man that she was dating, or he broke up with her. She's trying to kind of like sow her wild oats, trying to figure herself out, trying to kind of, have fun, but at the same time, kind of test the waters and see where these relationships, these escapades might go. So it's not like she's a slut. She's just trying to, it's a rebound type thing, I believe, where she's trying to get over this relationship, and she's just trying to have like fun while she's young and while she can. But they end up everyone starts making fun of her. The girls start resenting her. So the girls end up banding together, and they decide that for a charity, they're going to practice abstinence, where they're not going to have sex. Now, they make a ton of money by this, and they are kind of taken aback. They didn't think that this was going to really net them a lot of money, but they end up having a jar that says like abstinence for tips or money or whatever for donations, and they end up making just a ton of money on this. So the guys decide that they're going to do the same thing, because they're having like a charity contest to see who can raise the most amount of money for charity. So they also decide to practice abstinence for charity, which kind of divides an even bigger wedge between the two groups, because now they are copying what the girls are doing because the girls were so successful at it, and now they are also starting to make a lot of money and also becoming successful. So one of the guys who works there decides that he needs to break up these girls' relationships. He needs to drive a wedge between them so that they stop practicing abstinence and so that they lose this contest that they're having. So what he does is there's a girl in the group. I think her name is Ab, who is a version of the group. She has not, sowed her wild oats yet. And they decide that they're going to take one of the guys from their group and try to have him hook up with her so that they're no longer all abstinent. And she because she's going to be the easy target because she's a virgin. So they think she's going to jump right on it. She's going to want to finally go out and do it. So they decide to get these two together in a date, and they end up going out with each other. They end up kissing. They end up liking each other. I don't know if they actually had sex with each other. I think it's implied, but I don't know if it's actually said that they did. But she ends up going back and she ends up telling the girls that this happened, and they end up getting very angry at her because they believe that she messed up what they were doing and that there's this big issue now and there's this problem with what happened. Now, eventually at the end of the movie, they all kind of make up with each other. And I believe that Charlotte ends up with that Guillaume, whatever his name is, at the end of the movie. Not before she tells every guy in the group that she's pregnant, and she doesn't know who the father is. But then she says, "Oh, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not really pregnant." And the movie ends kind of on a high note where different people in the movie are paired up with each other. So there are sections in the workplace that are dating, and that's pretty much how it ends. Now, I thought the acting in this movie was absolutely fantastic. I thought the script was fantastic. The movie is in black and white, which I absolutely love. I didn't think it would have been as impactful. I didn't think it would have been as good if it was in color. I'm really happy that they went with black and white. It almost reminded me of I think La Haine was also a French movie, but that's also a movie when I think of newer movies that have come out that work better as black and white. I would think of that would be something like this where they both kind of had that same feeling to me where I don't think it would have worked as well if it was in color. So I thought that was a very good decision to work in black and white. When you're watching this movie, you really feel what's going on with the double standards that are going on. You really feel that these guys are also sleeping with her. They're also kind of sleeping with other women as well, and they're not taking that same type of flack that she's taking. They're not being called a whore. They're not being called a slut. They're not being it's nothing's happening. It's it doesn't matter that they are also doing the same thing, which I'm glad that this movie kind of puts that forward. I'm glad that this is a subject that it talks about. I don't seek out a lot of movies like this. I don't watch a lot of movies with this type of subject matter. I'm sure that a lot of movies out there exist. I'm not sure if this is a movie that does it better than the other ones, but I thought they handled it really well. I thought they did a really good job with handling the double standard that's going on. And the fact that she's getting treated very poorly, you really feel for her character in this. You really feel that she is being kind of bullied. You really feel that she is being treated unfairly, and you really are rooting for her. It's not a situation where you're just oh, she just sleeps with everyone. It's her own fault. It's her own mistake. In the beginning of the movie, where she is broken up with because her boyfriend is gay, I really think that lends to the feeling that you have for her, that you want her to succeed, that you want her to be able to dig herself out of this malaise that she's in. And then, she's kind of beaten down and stepped on throughout the entire movie. And we all have different ways that we deal with things, and she's dealing with things in the way that she wants to. It's really her decision. It's her choice. Now, rule of thumb, I would say that you shouldn't sleep with a lot of people that you work with because you all work together, and stories are going to get out. I would say that you probably shouldn't sleep with anyone that you work with, but I met my wife at one of my at a job that I work support that. So I would be a hypocrite if I said you shouldn't do that. But you shouldn't like sleep with more than one person that you work with, because it's liable to cause problems. It's just it more than likely will cause some sort of problem. So you should really, I realize what she's doing. She probably doesn't have a lot of people in her life. She doesn't see a lot of people outside her friend group. So, these are the group of people that she sees, and these are the group of people that she's decided to sow her wild oats with. But, in retrospect, it's probably a bad idea to do stuff like that. But anyway, I thought that they did a really good job with the subject. They didn't try to make it into like some weird relationships comedy, which it says it's a comedy drama. There are parts of the movie that are funny, but it's not like it went off the rails and they tried too hard to make things funny. I thought they balanced everything really well. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. It's a movie that I wouldn't mind seeing again if for some reason someone asked to see it, even though no one I know probably ever is going to have ever heard of this movie. But it's a movie that I would be willing to see again. I thought it was really good. I give it a 9 out of 10. I hope you join me next time when I review a movie called The Load. Thank you. Have a great day.